What's up, guys? I just wanted to give my predictions for the upcoming East versus West Supermatch series, which is set to take place this Saturday. It's East versus West 11, and again, this is who I think's gonna win, not who I want to win. No disrespect to any athletes, or if I say any names wrong, I do apologize. Match number 1, Robbie Topi versus Americ Pradines. Robbie Topi's very strong. He's been pulling for 25 years probably. He's taken as high as second in the WAL tournaments when everyone was there back in the day, 2015, 2016. Americ is this last year's European silver medalist at 242 pounds. I think Americ's gonna win. I think I may underestimate Topi, but it seems like he's more of a weightlifter, bodybuilder than arm wrestler. Like, he is an arm wrestler, obviously, first and foremost, but he seems to be more just power and without a lot of endurance. If the first or second match is close, I think after that Robbie will wear out. If I had to pick, I'd say Americ 3-0, but I could see it being 3-1. Nerdalot Erdogan versus Vala Echkidi. This one's really hard to say because Nerdalot pulled at the World Combat Games last, and with his right, he did very bad. I heard he was injured, but Ingen said that he's not injured. He's really strong right now. So, and he said there's a reason why he lost there. But he didn't say what it was. But still, you know, it gives you some uncertainty. Vala looks really strong. He pulled David Samushia a few months ago, and he lost, but in the first couple of rounds he was close. He got one win on him. I think Val is probably stronger, just pure power, but Nerdalot is more technical probably. I'm gonna pick Val on this one. I think he's just too strong, and since Nerdalot didn't do well at the combat games, there's uncertainty in my mind. This is also Nerdalot's first time pulling at 85 kilos, and I heard he is 85 kilos. Maybe even 86, 87. So he's not coming in light. He's going to be probably minimum 86, 87 match day. But Vala, I think Vala's just too strong, but I could see it being really close. And if Nerdalot is at his peak and wasn't hurt at the combat games, or if he was hurt, if he's back to his all-time strongest, I think that it could be a war with Nerdalot coming out on top endurance-wise, but I go Vala. I think he just has a little bit too much power, but I could see that. I say 55-45. Marcio Barboza versus Oleg Petrenko. I think a lot of people are counting Marcio out. I see everyone's picking Oleg. I think they're sleeping on Marcio. Last time we saw Marcio pull was against Pablo, and he looked super strong. I'm not sure how much weight he has to cut, that's the only thing. But he looked really strong against Pablo, as strong as ever in my opinion. And I think he's much more technical, well-rounded, and quicker than Oleg. I'm going to go Marcio 3. I'll still say 3-2, maybe 3-1. I think if it goes in the hook, it's 50-50. But I think Marcio can take his hand, maybe, 65% he can take his hand, and then the hook, it's 50-50. So overall, I'd say 60-40 to Marcio. Keep your elbow down, Marcio. I don't want to see you fall out. That's your one thing. But I know you can win. Oleg Jacques versus Avtandil Tutberidze. Tutberidze is the current WAF champion at 85 kilos, and Oleg Jacques is the world champion at 80 kilos, WAF. And Tutberidze beat the Kazakh guy that beat Oleg last year. However, styles make matches. The thing with Tutberidze is he's only 19 years old, I believe, so we don't know how quick he's gaining, but I don't think anyone at Oleg's weight can top roll him, so I would go Oleg Jacques. I'm going to say 3-0, but I'm really interested to see that one. And I think Oleg increased a lot since he lost at WAF 2022. So we have Mendagas versus Daniel Prokopchuk. This one I think is going to be a war. So in the past, Daniel's won about 65 to 70% of their matches. He's also won the last few times they've pulled each other. Historically, it's not uncommon for Mindy to take Daniel's hand, but he can't finish Daniel, and then Daniel ends up outlasting him and just being too strong, even without his hand. I think it'll probably go like that again if I had to predict. But if Daniel does keep his hand, I think he's going to dominate him. I think this will be a really good match. In my opinion, both these guys are top 5 in the world at 165 pounds, along with Makarov and Alan Zoloev. I'd go Daniel and Wars. I'm going to say it could be a sweep, but if it is, I still think it's going to be Wars. I'd say, and they both have incredible endurance. I'm going to go 3-0 Daniel if I had to pick, but I think it's going to be Wars. Artem Tainov versus Zurab Tuberidze. This match is going to be super close. This is for the 95K left-hand world title. Tainov recently beat Sasho. I think that Zurab arm to arm is actually stronger than Sasho left-handed, at least equal, maybe slightly stronger. But I think that Zurab's wrist is definitely weaker than Sasho's. So if Tainov can top roll Sasho, I think he can top roll Zurab. And Zurab can hold even without his wrist, but I can't see him winning without his wrist because Tainov's too well-rounded and technical. I think endurance is probably pretty close. I think speed favors Tainov by a lot. Technique favors Tainov by a lot. I think Tainov's going to take his hand every time. If it does go deep in the hook, I think that Zurab's too strong, but I can't see him getting there. Also, I'm not sure how much weight they both have to cut. I think Zurab might have a little bit of a harder time making 95 kilos. Overall, I go Tainov, I'd say like 70%. I'd be pretty surprised if he can top roll Sasho but not top roll Zurab. I'd be pretty surprised. But I think Zurab might beat Sasho if they pulled, but that's a different match, obviously. Paul Lin versus Irakli Zharakashvili. If you look at both their matches with Rustam Bayev, this match should be about 50-50. Originally, I don't know why. Maybe I'm underestimating Paul Lin. I think I was overestimating Irakli. But originally I thought, oh, Irakli's going to kill him. But I also thought Irakli was going to kill Rustam. That was super close. I think there's 2 possibilities in this match. Either Irakli keeps Paul Lin out of the hook and he wins easily, or it goes in the hook. And I think even in the hook, Irakli is strong enough to contend with Paul. I'm not saying he can beat him, but I don't think it's going to be a slam. I kind of went back and forth on this one. They both are progressing, I believe. If I had to pick, though, I'd go Irakli 60-40. Hopefully it's a war, and if it is a war, I don't think either of them have like incredible endurance. I don't think either of them have like terrible endurance either. But I think endurance should be pretty close if it's a war. But if it is a war, I see like Paul. If it's a war, it's going to be in a hook, and I see Paul like stopping him. Like Irakli, it might be in a hook, but like Paul might not be totally turned deep inside. He might still be like Irakli might still be top rolling or trying to top roll. And I see Paul on the defense, which I think since he'd be in a disadvantageous position, he still probably would be the underdog even in a stopped match. Of course, if Paul stops it on his side of the table, I think he's going to win. But I go Irakli 3-1. Matt Mask versus Wagner. A lot of people are picking Wagner. Not as many people as are picking Petrenko over Marcio, but Wagner seems to be the favorite, probably 60-40 in most people's eyes. What people don't know is Wagner's not as good right as he is left. Also, we haven't seen him pull a right in 6-7 years probably. I just can't see Wagner keeping his hand against Matt. And I don't think Wagner's going to flop wrist press him, because I think when Matt hits him and Wagner loses his hand, Wagner's going to be like out of position, so he won't be able to flop wrist press. And if he tries from when he's out of position, I see him getting hurt. I think Matt for sure is the favorite in this one. I go 70-30 for Matt. Too fast, too explosive, and he's going to take Wagner's hand. And Wagner, if he stops it, will be in a compromised position and won't be able to bring him back. David Samushi versus Vladimir Myrov. Vladimir is super strong. Actually, I could be wrong on this, but at the East versus West qualifiers last year, he lost to Yanis and a couple other guys, or at least one other guy. He didn't place top 3 though. But recently, he pulled at the Swiss Open, and I've heard both ways. I've heard he beat Sandras Setis, and I've heard that he lost to Sandras. Vladimir himself said that he only pulled Sandras on the side table, but if you look at the open class results, he took second, and Sandras was like fourth or fifth. He also beat slash placed above a guy that beat Sandras at the World Combat Games, and he beat Rimkus, who took second at Saudi a few years ago, and also for sure did beat Sandras at the Swiss Open. But so like, would Samushia beat Sandras? I don't know, but I still can't pick Vladimir. And in the pre-match interviews, Vladimir sounded like unsure of himself, but then later in the interview, he sounded super confident. I think it's going to be a war. Probably Samushia's hardest match, but I'm going to go Samushia 3-2. Ivan Medashenko versus Rino Masic. Rino is super strong. Now, I don't know the results for sure, but I do believe Kamil Jablinski beat Devin Larratt left-handed, and Rino and Kamil were back and forth in 2023. So Rino could be around Devin Larratt's level left-handed. They're slightly better, but I think his style, he won't be able to press Ivan. I think that'll be a really bad idea, and he'll get beat quick. And if it goes in a hook, Rino will be catching because Ivan's quicker, and I think Ivan dominates him, to be honest, but like if Rino does stop him, I see him being low, and it could be a war, but I think that Ivan wins. And if Rino tries the top roll, I think he gets smashed into a hook and dominated. So I'd go Ivan. Like, this is the one I'm most sure about. I go Ivan, but hopefully Rino can make it a war. If Ivan wins, I'd love to see him pull the winner of Prudnik and Alijan at the next one. So this next one I'm super unsure about, and that's John versus Krasimir. People act like Krasimir sucks now, but I was really surprised he beat Lachlan. I believe he is, he definitely used to be a lot stronger than he was. And I believe he is returning to his old form. That's just a speculation. I saw he's been lifting weights heavy again. He looks bigger and stronger. John looked bad against Sasho, but great against Voboda, but we don't know exactly where Voboda is at right now. So I could see it going either way. I could see John top rolling him, or at least controlling his pronator, so like Krasi's like here. He might not lose his wrist, but he might be here, not all the way in. And from there, I see John winning. But if Krasi can stop him and put the brakes on for like 10 plus seconds round one, I think that he will outlast him. I could see this match going either way. Obviously, John must be on the decline at this point in his career. So eventually Krasi's going to catch up to him, whether it's now or... And when I say catch up, Krasi actually has the last win on John, and that was 2013, but I do believe 100% that like a year ago, John was for sure above him. But eventually Krasi will catch up, whether it's now or in a year or 2 years. I've decided I'm going to pick John on this one. It'll have to be like 3-0, 3-1, because if it's 3-2, I can't see John winning, because that means it's wars and Krasi has more endurance. I'll go John 3-1, but percentage-wise, I'd say like 52-48. Alijan Moratov versus Evgeny Prudnik. Really hard one to predict. I would have said Alijan, but Prudnik really surprised me when he beat David Dedikin last time out. But I think David did get hurt. Like, still Prudnik's super strong, and he says he's 15% stronger now, which if that's true, then for sure Prudnik's gonna win. I could see it going either way, but I decided to pick Prudnik. I think that he'll be able to stop Alijan, and in the long game, like, Alijan's endurance is incredible too, but I think Prudnik's probably arguably got the best endurance in the world at this weight with this arm. Arguably, not for sure, but arguably. I think it's going to be really, really close matches. I'll go Prudnik 3-2, but I'd say like 50.5 to 49.5. I think it's going to be really close. But Prudnik also, like, Ingen says no chance it's going to be a top roll, but I think Prudnik might top roll him. Like, I think it'll be a hook, like 85%, but I think there's like a 15% chance at least that Prudnik will top roll. Alijan won't be able to top roll Prudnik though. Let's see. Alex Krdecha versus Morozov. This one's really hard to predict because we haven't seen Alex pull in like a couple years left-handed or right-handed. supposedly he's really big right now, like 360, 365, and before he was like 330, 340. So theoretically, he should be even stronger. And I do believe that in his time away, I don't know why he was away, but I believe he was probably training really hard. And, but we don't know for sure. I also don't think he would take this match if he wasn't in shape. So I believe Alex is going to be as strong or stronger than he ever was. But it's just a guess. But I think that I'd have to pick Morozov. I actually think Morozov could maybe even top roll him. Like, at first I heard someone say that, and I was like, there's no way. But, like, if it goes in the hook, for sure Morozov. But he might struggle to get him in the hook. Probably will struggle to get him in the hook. I'd say, like, 60% chance he can get him into a hook, and 40% chance Alex top rolls him. But Morozov might be able to at least match Alex up top, especially in the straps, just because I think he's stronger. Morozov's got a top roll. And, I think in the endurance game goes to Morozov. He looks healthy now. I believe he's back. I believe he's strong. I say 65% to Morozov. And then the last match, Tadzilla versus David Dedikian. I think David's got the style to beat Todd. I think that he's looks like he's working on his cup based off the pull-ups with the thick handle he's cupping in. That's a cupping exercise as well as like a back and arm exercise. So I think style-wise, he has a chance to beat Todd for sure. He's very quick too. I actually think the way to beat Todd, this used to be not the case, but I think the way to beat him is to hook him. Because you can't top roll Todd anymore. I mean, you can if you're like insane. Like Levon at his peak could obviously top roll Todd, but stylistically, I'd say a hook is actually the better way to beat him at this point. Or a high hook, which I think David could probably do and is probably going to try to do. But at this point in time, I will not bet against Todd Hutchings under 105 kilos, unless maybe if Devin cuts to 105. So I'm going to go Todd. I'd say the percentages are 65% to 35%. I'll say 3-1. I think that maybe the first match, the Deacon beats him quick. The second match, Todd stops him. And I think the Deacon's gas tank isn't that great. And I think Todd's gas tank is insane, so I go Todd in the war, 3-1. So again, Marek Pradines over Topi. Velika over Nerdalot. Really close match, though. Could go either way. Marcio over Oleg. I should be off break now. Oleg Jacques over Tutberidze. Prokopchik over Mindy. Tainov over Zurab in a war. That's going to be a really good one. Irakli over Lin. Mask over Wagner. Samushia over Myrov. Mashenko over Reno, 80% to 20%. John over Krasny, second hardest match to predict, though. Prudnik over Alajan, and that's going to be, I think, the closest one. Morozov over Alex, and he might top roll him. And Tadzilla over Dedikian. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe.